How comfortable are you talking about yourself? Almost every interview starts out with some version of the question, "Tell me about yourself." The way you answer it has a huge impact on how well the rest of your interview goes. It can make you seem like a really strong candidate or immediately leave the interviewer with some concerns. Watch the rest of the video to find out the best way to answer this question. I'm Jen with the Career Force. We help smart, career-minded professionals stand out in today's job market. For more videos on all things related to career, check back every week or subscribe and turn on notifications. Before we go over the best way to respond to "Tell me about yourself," let's first look at why this question's asked. This will help us build a more effective answer. So why is this so common? First of all, it's just an easy way to start a conversation. It gets you comfortable talking about yourself and gives the interviewer some clues about how well you tell your story. This question's also a great launching point for more detailed questions. So whatever you mention in the "Tell me about yourself" response is likely to lead to some deeper questions, probably more related to specific experiences that you've had. With these things in mind, you'll prepare talking points about yourself related to your career history. Now, keep in mind that the interviewer really just wants to know professional information. So lots of people tend to go towards talking about where they grew up or their hobbies or their interests. None of this is really relevant to the job. So stick to what you've done in your career and specifically what you've done that directly relates to the job you're applying for. Since your answer to this question is a starting point for deeper questions, stick to the areas where you're likely to get asked things, and this definitely is not going to be about your personal life. So what's the best way to walk through your professional history? Think of it in terms of a story. Rather than regurgitating exactly the same things that are on your resume, you'll want to weave an interesting story that both informs the interviewer and draws them in. We're going to set this up in terms of present, past, and future, in that order. I'll talk about each of these momentarily. I'm curious what the most difficult part of this question is for you. Tell me about it in the comments. Start out talking about the present. Every good story starts out with a captivating intro, and your professional story shouldn't be any different. Think about 1 to 2 sentences that summarize everything that got you to this point and concisely convey what you're doing today. Here's what a good hook might sound like. I'm an experienced buyer who has managed the complete scope of supplier relationships from sourcing to contract and pricing negotiations. I've built strong long-term relationships with suppliers while also reducing the cost of goods by an average of 5% across all the suppliers I've worked with. This is fairly high level, but highlights some key career accomplishments. It also covers the breadth of your experience. Now that you have their attention, move to the past and talk a bit about your career progression. Think about the job description for the job you're interviewing for and anything else you know about the job. What are the most important aspects or responsibilities that you'll have? Now, think back to your past positions and talk a bit about what you did in each of those that maybe relates to this job. Highlight your major accomplishments and responsibilities as they relate to this new position. There are 3 areas that employers love to hear about. If you've generated revenue, saved money, or optimized processes or procedures, these are fantastic things to bring up when you answer this question. So here's what you might say about your past. I started my career in a junior buyer role for Company X, where I overhauled our pricing methods to better address raw material pricing. I moved into a buyer role where I specifically worked with risky suppliers within a commodity to stabilize them and reduce costs for everyone. I was then promoted to a lead buyer role where I took on ownership of the complete supplier relationship within the commodity. Now it's time to move on to the future. Specifically, you're going to talk about why you're excited for the new role that you're interviewing for and what you'll bring to the table. This part should be concise, confident, and excited. Here's what that might look like. I have really enjoyed working with all aspects of the supplier relationship and am excited for a new challenge in a different commodity. This part of your answer also highlights to the employer that you really understand the role you're interviewing for and why you're excited to move into it. Your entire present, past, future answer should take no more than 1 to 2 minutes. A lot of people think that when they need to talk about themselves, it needs to be a really long answer, and usually you'll just lose the interest of the interviewer. By keeping it concise and engaging, you give a great launching point for additional discussion with the employer and keep them extremely interested in what you're saying. Are you landing as many interviews as you want and receiving job offers from them? If not, check out my cheat sheet that walks you through all the key steps of landing your next job. It will help you get more interviews and better job offers. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.